Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's going on, Fantasy Champs? My name is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon with me as always. Poppin' Rick.
What's up?
Yo, we might get through a whole week together on the show.
Yeah, that's right. Who would have thought?
I mean, it's stunning if we made it through that many shows together. But anyway,
first time in a while. 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah. But anyway, welcome into the podcast. We got some stuff to get to you today. It should be really, really interesting. This game probably won't be interesting for what it's worth. As of right now, because it sounds like all the quarterbacks are, freaking out. So we'll see what happens with this. But we'll give you our best fantasy advice going into this game, who you should start, who you should stay away from. Give you our picks for the game. Tell you if you want what we're going to do with the over-under. I usually bet that. I usually bet the over-under. But anyway, how you doing, Rick? You doing all right?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself? I'm
cruising for bruising through life.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. If that, if that helps out. But anyway, all right, let's jump into before we jump into anything. Gosh, I'm on my phone and I'm freaking getting glazed. Before we jump into our Thursday night preview, check out our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your other podcasting platforms, please leave a review and share this pod with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, like, and comment down below any questions you have pertaining to this matchup this week. Like I said, it is Raiders. It is Chargers. Now, I would have been excited about this game if both teams didn't completely suck and the quarterback, Justin Herbert, didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
So
this went from like a few weeks ago to being like, okay, this could be a good Thursday night game to Patriots and Steelers level.
Yeah. Yep. Easily. So the Raiders are on the road at the Chargers. The over-under is 34 points currently. I don't know if that factors in the Justin Herbert thing, so just keep an eye on the line. And if it is 30,
it probably does.
30 to 34 points is probably where it'll land. And with that being said, there's some points to be scored in the game, but I don't think this is going to be like a high flying affair. I said that last week though, and lost my bets. So
that's true. That is true.
So anyway, with that being said, do you have any overreaching thoughts on this game?
I would say it's just another sad Thursday night football game, and another. It's just showing another sad way of the NFL season and how it's going so far this year.
Yep, for sure.
We get to watch Aiden McConnell and.
Now, every time I get to this point of the year, I don't like to, I just put football on and I don't like to complain about the games, and who's playing in them because I get to watch football. Because in a month and a half, I won't. I'll be watching basketball and I'll be disappointed. So I'll be like, I really wish people were hitting each other right now. Not flopping on the floor.
So on Thursday, you're going to watch Easton Stick play football.
I'll be watching Easton Stick play Aiden O'Connell for a game that doesn't matter at the bottom of the AFC West.
Here you go. The team who loses this game, I saw this on Twitter, will likely go to Gillette Stadium next year because we'd play the worst team in the AFC West. Since we're the worst team in the AFC East.
Okay.
The AFC West team.
Can we not do the Raiders games again?
To New England.
Can we not do the Raiders?
This is our schedule. So I'm rooting for the Chargers because I'd rather play the Raiders next year, probably.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so let's start with the Raiders and talk about some fantasy implications. Starting with this is going to literally probably be like a 10 to 12 minute show, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
Aiden O'Connell, we'll start with him. Obviously, they benched Jimmy Garoppolo weeks back. The Raiders started winning a couple of football games, but O'Connell's not great. He does make a couple of passes, but I think for him, there's nothing there for them. So they should draft a quarterback. They should probably do that.
They probably are. Every mock draft I've seen has them taking quarterback.
You should have taken one last year. Bunch of dopes.
Probably. What pick did they have? 7?
Yeah.
8? Who would they have
Maybe,
taken? Will
I don't
Levis?
know. Oh, that's a little high for Levis. Although I thought he would
Well,
go
at
there.
the time, remember at the time, there was talks that he might go top 5. So
Oh, yeah. But anyway.
they probably should have actually, looking back on it.
They probably should.
Probably should have taken Levis.
They would have had a quarterback to throw Devontae Adams the ball. But anyway, yeah. So with Aiden O'Connell starting for this team, a lot of people have flocked to the waiver wire to go pick him up, and that's not a good idea. He's terrible. So for this week for fantasy football, he's got to be in your bench or not even on your team. Shouldn't even be on your team, guys.
Probably not.
Can you look up what's going on with Josh Jacobs as we move to the running back position?
Yeah. So I know he got hurt at the end of the game. He did not practice on Monday, so I don't know what it was for the rest of the week. According to this, it's on a short week, so there's a chance that he's in danger of sitting out. If Jacobs plays, you probably still start him no matter what. It is against the Chargers. It's a good matchup. If he doesn't play, do you want to start Zamir White?
If he doesn't start, I'm probably in a tough spot at the running back position on the week unless you have a lot of depth there. If you do not have a lot of depth at the running back position, you need a guy, then Zamir White would probably be the next best guess. But my problem with that is that the Raiders don't particularly have a high-flying offense that's going to score a lot of points. So it's kind of just like, the talent.
It's hard to start their handcuff.
Right. It's kind of hard to start their handcuff when their handcuff is on a bad offense. Jacobs is just a good football player, which is why he has success. But if you need a start and you're desperate, I'd go for it. I don't think it's going to work out for you.
Right. I would agree.
There's no other running backs here. So I agree with Rick. No. Start Jacobs if he's available. If he's not, go for it. Devontae Adams. He's Adams.
Well, great analysis.
Yeah, he's Adams.
He's Adams.
So, what are we gonna do? Devontae Adams, wide receiver, 18 on the season, so he's averaging 14.4 points per game. You probably have just been starting him on a week-to-week basis at this point. In this game against the Chargers, their defense blows. So, if you've been starting Adams with Aiden O'Connell all season, you've been starting Adams with Aiden O'Connell all season. I don't anticipate there being a lot of scoring or touchdowns or anything in this game, but Adams is the one guy that probably has the highest chance of doing so. He's got to be in your lineup against the Chargers. I'd start him this week.
Yeah, same. And even though, this week they had 0 points, the Raiders literally scored 0 points, and he still had 12 fantasy points. So Adams still has to be start against a good matchup in the Chargers.
Yeah. Jacoby Myers is the other receiver, and he's been kind of in the same kind of range. He has good games and he has bad games, so he's a little bit lower, 10 spots lower than him. But wide receiver 28 is the range that you typically would have a guy like that. So that's 13.5 fantasy points per game. So he's probably also been a flex for you if you have Jacoby Myers. Like I said, easier matchup. I'd go with Jacoby as well.
Yeah, that one's hard for me because the Vikings last week was supposed to be an easy matchup too, and they scored 0 points. This Raiders team is not good. I would probably agree with you. I mean, he's an okay start this week, but I'm not going out of my way to start him.
Okay. And then they have at tight end Michael Mayer, who had a stretch of time where he was okay for fantasy football, but lately he has not. So
no.
So yeah, I'd sit him.
He's not a start.
Yeah.
Looking forward though, there are some talented pieces on this Raiders team if they get a young quarterback in there. Although Adams probably won't be a part of this team next year.
I feel like the Raiders have always been that team that you look at and you go, there's something there. No.
No.
Probably not. But anyway, all right, they're your Raiders. They suck. Let's move to the Chargers, who actually would have been something to watch in this game if their quarterback did not get hurt. Rick told me on the last show that I was stunned by because I freaking didn't know. Justin Herbert is now out for the season, most likely, with a hand injury. So
Not even most likely. He's officially out for the year.
he's officially out for the year, which puts Easton Stick in at quarterback.
Yeah.
This kid sounds like he got beat up in high school.
He looks like it too. No
yeah,
offense.
He kind of looks. No offense, dude.
Easton
Stick, though, some people are going to run to the waiver wire and pick him up as if he's going to have a good game this week. I would not do that. If you're streaming quarterbacks in the playoffs, please do not put Easton Stick in your lineup. I'm sitting him. I don't know. If
I will say he did throw a dot. Did you see the dot that he threw?
I didn't.
He threw a 50-yard bomb to our boy Quentin Johnston, and he didn't drop it. And everybody was freaking out on Twitter. And then
maybe Herbert throws the ball too hard.
Yeah, that's what people were saying. Quentin Johnston's problem was Justin Herbert, not the other way around.
He goes off at the end of the year.
But yeah, no, Easton Stick wasn't good outside of that throw in that game. And he's not anyone you would ever consider starting, even with all the quarterback injuries across the league.
But yet, people are running out and picking him up in redraft leagues. So I don't know.
Don't do it.
Austin Eckler. This, the struggle bus has been activated for Eckler for weeks now. But he last week did have a decent performance. He had 21 points, 10 rushes, 51 yards, a touchdown, 5 catches for 49 yards. So he had over 100 yards, a touchdown, and 5 catches. Very good fantasy week for him. So, I mean, does that mean Eckler's back? Who knows? But he is playing the Raiders, who are not really necessarily a good run defense. Obviously it's Eckler, despite his efficiencies and all of that stuff, inefficiencies and all that stuff. I feel like he's a guy that you're going to get out there. You're probably going to get 5 catches. And even if he's inefficient, you'll still get 10 fantasy points. So you have to start him.
Yeah. You know how I feel about Eckler right now. I think he's washed. I don't think he's the same player. He did have a good week this week. Denver was 31st in the league against running back. Yeah. So, I mean, he had to have a good week. And I think there was reports going into the week that Staley was going to bench him. And he did, actually, the first drive of the game. But then Josh Kelly got stuffed on 3 straight runs, and they went back to Eckler, and then he was doing better. So, it's just a situation to monitor. But even if Eckler isn't what he used to be or any of these things, and Herbert out, and all that included, he's probably still in your starting lineup because of the depth at running back right now across the NFL isn't great for fantasy. And he's still, even with Easton Stick out there, as you said, is probably going to get 4 or 5 catches. So he's going to have a floor for fantasy. And even without a touchdown, should probably get you 10, 11 points, hopefully.
Yeah. Agreed. Anyone else at the running back position? Because I know people would pick up a Josh Kelly and start him.
No.
I'm telling you, dude, you'd be surprised how many teams have that decision to make.
I don't disagree. I mean, I know what you're saying, but for those teams that do that, don't.
Yeah. All right. At wide receiver, no one really else I think Palmer's still out, correct?
Palmer is out.
Jalen Guyton, is he still out?
I think he's out.
Okay. Quentin Johnston and then Keenan Allen didn't practice. Hasn't practiced yet this week, but if he logs a practice by Wednesday, the rumors are that he could play on Thursday night. I don't know if they'll rush it because there's no real reason to throw Keenan Allen out there at this point.
You could even sit him the rest of the year if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of old, so it's what's the point? But
that's true.
But anyway, yeah, Keenan Allen, if he's available and he's on the field, obviously you want him in your lineup, but because he's probably going to be the most reliable receiver they have. But you just have to keep an eye on the situation with his injuries because I don't know what's going to go on. And then you have Quentin Johnston as well.
And his ceiling is gone without Herbert as well.
Yes, exactly.
Those big 20-plus point weeks aren't going to happen anymore.
No, it'll probably be somewhere around 12. But all right, then we have Quentin Johnston. What are your thoughts on Quentin Johnston this week?
I still don't like him. I think it's good for his development, though, that I think this, he should win, lose, or draw. The Chargers should be getting that dude 7, 8 targets every week from the rest of the season on, because he has really struggled this year with drops and other things, wrong routes. A lot people have compared him to N'Keal Harry, which I think may be strong, but he He's not had a good rookie year. And he did the last 2 weeks, though. Has had some catches. I know he had a big drop against the Patriots, and you were at that game and you saw it. But this week he didn't have any drops, I don't think. So that's a good step in the right direction for me. He had 12 fantasy points. Had a big catch that went for 57 yards. So some positive signs for him, but I'm still not starting him in fantasy.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I agree with you. And then you have Gerald Everett, who was always kind of like a maybe
a stream at tight end.
Yeah, a stream at tight end. So,
but without Herbert, he's dead.
Yeah, for sure. So it's just this offense. Like we had to see some weeks with Easton Stick because who knows? Maybe it's the same. But for me, it's like without Herbert, there's kind of just not a lot of
Yeah, I mean, guys like Allen and Eckler will probably still produce no matter what. For their PPR value, like Allen will probably, as you said, still get 12 points. He'll probably still get 6 or 7 catches. Eckler will still get 5 or 6 catches, but the touchdowns, like they might get 1, maybe 2, but like the offense just definitely takes a hit.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's get to our final picks for this game. And then send these guys home.
Yeah.
So that they can wait for our starts and sit show tomorrow. Who you got in this game, Rick?
I got to go with the Raiders.
I am going with the Chargers.
There you go.
I'm going to go with the Chargers.
They both suck. Would you take the over or under in this game?
I would take the under, probably.
Yeah, I would too.
They both suck. That is correct. Now, just to update you all, Rick is 12-2, and I'm 8-6. We both got the Steelers wrong last week.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Who would have thought the Pats
Patriots, our team?
The Pats, 3-10, baby.
I hope they stay at 3 wins.
Yeah, let's hope they stay at 3 wins. But anyway,
give me Caleb or Drake.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you for listening to the pod. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. We do have our starts and sits show coming up this Friday. Or Thursday or whenever it comes out. So be sure to check that out. Hopefully you enjoy this Thursday night football game. Enjoy the start of your week. See you later, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.